Imagine a world without computers. No internet, no smartphones, no video games. No Google, no social media, no emails. Just paper, pencils, and slow manual calculations. Hard to believe, right? But not long ago this was the reality. Hello. My name is James and I love technology. Have you ever thought about how life would be without computers? This is the story of how the first computer was invented, and how it changed the world forever. Today you will learn English through this incredible journey, discovering new words and phrases while exploring how computers went from an idea to the powerful machines we use today. The world before computers. Before computers, solving complex calculations took hours, sometimes even days. Businesses relied on humans to keep financial records. Engineers struggled with long, complicated equations. Scientists needed faster ways to process data. But there was a problem. People make mistakes. The more calculations they had to do, the more errors they made. Mathematicians and engineers began to ask, is there a way to build a machine that can do this work for us? Brilliant mind. In the early 1800s, a man named Charles Babbage had an idea. Babbage was a British mathematician and inventor. He looked at the slow, error-prone calculations being done by hand and thought, what if we could create a machine to do this automatically? It was a bold idea. No one had ever built anything like it before. Could it really work? Babbage believed it could. And so he started working on a design, a machine that would become known as the difference engine. This was the beginning of modern computing. Before the invention of computers, life was much slower. Every business transaction, scientific equation, and engineering design had to be calculated by hand. And that meant one thing. Mistakes were common. The struggle of manual calculations. Imagine a scientist in the 1800s trying to predict the movement of planets. He sits at a large wooden desk surrounded by books, notes, and stacks of papers. Using only a pencil and a sheet of numbers, he carefully writes down calculations. One small mistake means he has to start all over again. Now imagine this happening in businesses, banks, and government offices, where even the smallest mistake could cost money, time, or even lives. People knew they needed something better. The need for a machine. By the early 19th century, scientists and engineers were looking for ways to make calculations faster. Some of them built mechanical devices to help with basic arithmetic. Abacus, used for simple counting. Slide rule, used for quick multiplication and division. Mechanical calculators, small devices that could add and subtract faster than a human. But none of these could solve complex problems. There had to be something more powerful. And that's when Charles Babbage came along, the genius behind the idea. Babbage was a mathematician and inventor, born in 1791 in England. He had spent years watching human error slow down important work. One day he had a vision. What if a machine could do calculations automatically without mistakes? People laughed at the idea. But Babbage didn't care. He knew it could work. He just had to build it. Charles Babbage was not just a mathematician, he was a visionary. He believed that machines could help humans solve complex problems faster. And in 1822 he presented an idea that would change history. The difference engine. The difference engine, a machine for mathematics. Babbage's machine was massive, made of thousands of metal gears and levers. It was designed to perform long calculations automatically, eliminate human error, speed up scientific and financial work. If completed, the difference engine would be the most advanced machine of its time. A machine ahead of its time. But there was a problem. Building the difference engine required incredible precision. Each gear had to be cut perfectly, each lever had to fit exactly. And in the early 1800s, manufacturing technology wasn't advanced enough. Babbage faced delays, technical challenges, and a lack of funding. The British government, which originally supported the project, lost patience. After 10 years of work, the difference engine was never completed. The analytical engine, the first true computer. But Babbage didn't give up. Instead, he designed something even more powerful. The analytical engine, A machine that could store data, follow instructions, change calculations based on input. This was the first real concept of a programmable computer. If built, it could have transformed science, business, and communication. But once again, the world wasn't ready for it. Babbage passed away in 1871, never seeing his invention completed. The legacy of Babbage. Even though his machines were never fully built, Babbage's ideas inspired future generations. His designs became the foundation for modern computers. And he wasn't alone in his vision. A brilliant woman named Ada Lovelace saw even greater possibilities. She realized that computers could do more than just math. She was about to change history forever. Charles Babbage had designed the analytical engine. But it was Ada Lovelace who truly understood its potential. Who was Ada Lovelace? Born in 1815, Ada Lovelace was the daughter of the famous poet Lord Byron. But unlike her father, Ada was not a poet, she was a mathematician. From a young age she was fascinated by numbers, logic, and machines. When she met Charles Babbage, she became captivated by his ideas. And when she saw the plans for the analytical engine, she had a revolutionary thought. This machine can do more than just calculations. It can follow instructions like a human brain. The first computer program. In 1843, Ada Lovelace translated a scientific paper about the analytical engine. But she didn't just translate, she added her own notes. And those notes contained something groundbreaking. The first ever computer algorithm. She described how the analytical engine could be programmed with a set of instructions, making it more than just a calculator. A true programmable machine. The world's first computer. Ada's vision for computers. Ada predicted something that no one else saw. One day machines like this will create music, images, and even help with human thinking. This was in 1843, long before electricity, modern computers, or even typewriters. Ada Lovelace had foreseen the future of computing. Why was she forgotten? At the time her work was ignored. People thought of computers as nothing more than mechanical calculators. It wasn't until the 20th century, when real computers were built, that scientists realized Ada had been right all along. Today she is remembered as the first computer programmer in history. And the world was about to see her vision come to life. In the middle of a war that would change everything. The world after World War II was a new era. For the first time computers existed, but they were huge, expensive, and only used by governments. That was about to change. From military machines to business computers. In the 1950s and 1960s, engineers and scientists worked to make computers smaller, no more room-sized machines. Faster, using transistors instead of vacuum tubes. More accessible, businesses could use them for accounting, banking, and records. The birth of programming languages. To make computers useful, they needed instructions. That's when scientists developed early programming languages. Fortran 1957. Used for math and science. COBOL 1959. Used in business and banking. BASIC 1964. Made computing simpler and more user-friendly. Now, computers weren't just for scientists. They were starting to be useful in everyday life. The first personal computer. In 1971, Intel invented the microprocessor. This allowed engineers to build smaller computers, ones that could fit on a desk instead of in a warehouse. By the late 1970s, companies like Apple, IBM, and Microsoft were working on something revolutionary. A computer that anyone could use at home. The computer revolution had officially begun. And nothing would ever be the same again. Computers started as an idea. A dream of Babbage and Ada Lovelace in the 1800s. Today they are everywhere. From supercomputers in space to the smartphones in our pockets, computers have changed how we live, work, and communicate. The key lessons from this story. Great ideas take time. Babbage and Ada Lovelace never saw their ideas come to life, but they laid the foundation for the future. Lesson. If you have a big idea, don't give up. The world may not be ready yet, but one day it will be. Computers are more than machines. They are tools that help us solve problems, connect people, and make discoveries. From breaking codes in World War II to helping land on the moon, computers have changed history. Learning something new is like programming a computer. The more you practice, the better you get. Learning English, like coding, takes small steps, repetition, and creativity. Final message. The first computers were huge, slow, and difficult to use. But over time they became faster, smaller, and more powerful. The same is true for learning a new skill. So, what will you take from this story? Just like computers, your knowledge will keep evolving, and your future is limitless.